3 people. Maybe you can take that. I have 2 index cards, 4x6s. Just need a little pick-me-up before I do the speech. All right. So Smith said it pretty perfectly in an article titled Caffeine Alternatives to Beat the 3 p.m. Slump. Your eyes are fluttering, your body feels so heavy, and your mind is just wandering. Everyone has been there. The 3 p.m. rolls around and it's almost impossible to concentrate, and you're ready to reach for more caffeine. The coffee, the Red Bulls, the caffeine pills, anything to give your mind or your body a jump start and get through the day, or just to wake you up in the morning. In an article titled About Caffeine, written by Villanova University, states that 90% of Americans consume caffeine in one form or another every single day. More than half of all American adults consume more than 300 milligrams every day, making it America's most popular drug. Who knew that caffeine was actually a drug that you could be addicted to? But consuming that much caffeine has its side effects, like insomnia, increased blood pressure, increased heart rate, but luckily there are healthier alternatives to give you that same energy boost without the side effects. About Caffeine states that caffeine is a drug that stimulates the central nervous system actually, causing increased heart rate and of course alertness. In another article titled Your Brain on Caffeine, it states that the caffeine fools the brain by blocking certain chemical receptors, causing the brain to fire quickly and more frequently. It's the most widely used psychoactive chemical in the world. Kalamuk wrote an article titled Caffeine Biology that caffeine can cause alertness, but alertness is perceived by the consumer. So it's not even one of those things that it's just going to give you that alertness that you need. It's just whatever your body, whatever you intake, that's what you're gonna feel. But because instead of the alertness, the body experiences stress, which can lead to the negative side effects. So caffeine is supposed to keep you awake, but one side effect is actually insomnia. Insomnia is the inability to sleep. Kalamuk states that the amount of time it takes half of the caffeine consumed to leave the body is about 6 hours. It may take up to 12 hours for the body to process caffeine and permit normal sleep. Spritzler wrote an article titled The 9 Side Effects of Too Much Caffeine that studies have found that higher caffeine intake appears to increase that amount of time it takes to fall asleep and may decrease total sleeping time. So try to cut off your caffeine consumption by the early afternoon to avoid sleeping problems. So far, caffeine can mess with your sleep patterns, but what else can it do? High blood pressure can occur when caffeine is consumed. Spritzler wrote that luckily it will not increase your risk of heart disease or stroke, but can still lead to higher levels of blood pressure. Caffeine seems to raise blood pressure when consumed at high doses or prior to exercise, as well as in people who rarely consume it. But this effect may only be temporary, so it's best to monitor your response. Insomnia, high blood pressure, what else are we risking by consuming too much caffeine? Caffeine, of course, can cause rapid heart rate. Spritzer wrote that it can also lead to altered heartbeat rhythm called atrial fibrillation, which has been reported in young people who consumed energy drinks like this one, containing extremely high doses of caffeine. Large doses of caffeine may increase heart rate or rhythm in some people, but the effects appear to vary greatly from person to person. The average amount that someone should consume every day is no more than 400 milligrams. But of course, your Red Bulls, your energy drinks and stuff like that may have more in it, but you can also take other things like caffeine pills that can actually have a little bit less in it, so that way you're not taking so much as well. Caffeine may sound scary, but there are other ways to get your caffeine without the side effects. So healthier alternatives for caffeine consumption are easier to find and better on the body. Some alternatives can include peppermint, actually. So Turner and Tweed wrote in an article titled Energizing Caffeine Alternatives that peppermint has a proven ability to enhance stamina, increase performance, and increase mental clarity. Inhaling peppermint oil had significant improvements on exercise performance, power, and energy. Smith wrote that high energy foods like apples, like this, pumpkin seeds, and even trail mix can even energize you and help your body feel better. Another one actually is water. So water can actually help as well because dehydration is a big reason that you are feeling lethargic. So who knew that you could just reach for something that you find every day in your house? Just water, apples, trail mix, anything like that can actually help you get the energy that you need. So caffeine can have many side effects. It's not just insomnia, high blood pressure, or increased heart rate. The list can go on. But by watching how much we consume or even switching to the healthier alternatives like the apples or the water or the trail mix, or even just a simple thing as peppermint oil, we can still get the burst of energy we need without the dangers of processed caffeine.